Hey everybody, welcome back to the Theoretical Guitarists. I'm George.
I'm Jake.
And today we're going to take a closer look at Scale the Summit's The Levitated off of their 2011 album, The Collective. A couple weeks ago we did a playthrough, so if you're interested you can check that out in the link above. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about the theory and some of the guitar techniques that went into making this song so that we can add those to our own guitar and songwriting toolkits.
The Levitated is fairly up-tempo and relies on two-handed tapping exclusively, so take your picks, toss them to the side, don't need them today. Chris Letchford opens up the song with a riff in 6/4 that appears to be in D Dorian, keeping the tonal center on D while hinting at C major. Take note specifically of the C major 7 chord at the very end of the riff, as that chord will become very prominent in the later portions of the song.
After the 4-measure intro, Travis and the rest of the band enter. Chris and Travis settle into a rhythmically bouncy section where they're playing chord extensions with the right hand and alternating between a root and fifth ostinato with the left hand. An ostinato is just a musical term for a short repeating melodic or rhythmic idea, and most ostinatos usually take a background or supporting role. The chords that Travis and Chris are playing in this section create kind of a tonally ambiguous atmosphere. The chords in this section rely heavily on common tones, enharmonic equivalents, and the omission of key chord tones to create an exotic and dark atmosphere. So these are the chords that are played in this section. These chords don't yet suggest any particular key, however this relationship is known in modern music theory as a chromatic mediant relationship between the C minor and the E minor chords. Chromatic mediants are chords that are of the same quality, so that would be a major chord and another major chord, or a minor chord and another minor chord, that are a third apart, and this is either a major third or a minor third. And the interesting thing about these chords is that they only have one note in common between them. These chords are known as chromatic mediants because they don't exist diatonically within traditional major or minor scales. They would be outside of the key signature. As you can hear, if you're going from a major chord to another major chord, they can kind of have a uplifting sound. And if you're going from a minor chord to another minor chord, they can have kind of a dark and ominous sound. Diatonic mediants, on the other hand, would fit nicely within our traditional major or minor scales, and they sound a little bit different. As you can hear, the diatonic mediants don't possess that same kind of exotic quality. And now that you're familiar with the sound and composing technique, you'll start to hear it all over the place, particularly in movie soundtracks and television soundtracks.
The next section of the song moves into E minor. The first half of the riff is in 9/4 time and features a melody line moving in between your left and right hands, outlining the E minor chord. The second half of the riff marks the return of the root fifth ostinato with your left hand, while tap chords with your right hand add context, spelling out a C major 7. This specific chord was also hinted at the beginning of the song and will play a prominent role towards the end as well. When you put the two parts of the section together, you'll notice it's a lot less tense and more melodic than the previous section, even though the root notes of the chords are the same. This is an example of the diatonic mediants that George mentioned before, as C and E are only a third apart, and both chords fit diatonically within the key. The next section of the song alternates between 5/4 and 6/4 time, and you'll notice that the melody is more evenly distributed between the left hand and the right hand in this section.
section of the song still technically stays in E minor, but the tonal center shifts to C, making this section in C Lydian. We know this section is in C Lydian because it contains the raised 4th degree, which is the F sharp, as well as the B natural, which is the raised 7th, and the E natural, which is the major 3rd, all in C Lydian. The rhythm guitar part in this section consists of hammering on with the left hand, the root and 5th of the chord, while adding some additional chord extensions with the right hand, pulling off to the open strings. In the last repeat of this section, there's a return of that alternating root and 5th ostinato from the beginning, just to kind of tie everything up nicely.
Over the top of the last section of the song, Chris outlines the same chords Travis plays with his left hand while introducing a new melody with his right hand. He uses the ostinato technique mentioned before in short bursts in between the right-handed tap notes, creating a lead line that feels like it's levitating over the chord progression. To finish off the song, Chris lands on a C chord with his left hand and lets it ring out, while he throws in some tap slides between the 10th and 12th fret, wrapping it up with some tapped harmonics. A couple key things to keep in mind when approaching this song: always stretch. Make sure you're good and limber and ready to go before you go and attack this. If you're starting to feel at all strained, or if you're starting to feel in pain at all, definitely take a break. Don't keep plugging at it. You'll just hurt yourself.
One of the things that we struggled with when we were learning to play this piece was making sure that the strings we weren't playing weren't ringing out, so that you're only hearing the intended notes. The Levitated is an interesting piece filled with time signature changes, tonal center shifts, interesting harmonies, and melodic movement between the left and right hands. All very cool techniques that we can use in our own songwriting toolkits.
Thanks for watching. We hope you learned as much as we did. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoyed the content, and subscribe for any future videos. We'll see you next time. I had played that cleaner than I was playing it slow. That pisses me off. I can't keep myself together now. Oh no. Woo! We did it. Okay.